Did you just drop that flower?
I'm sorry. Oh, Tom, it's you. I thought it was God speaking to me. How are you? Hey, everybody. Welcome back. Wow, I'm so glad you're here. Hey, look, I'm going to take my mask off, okay? But remember, we still got to wear them. But I'm vaccinated and I'm pretty far from Tom, so you might hear me a little bit better. Well, good morning. It's May 11th. It's my sister Suzanne's birthday today, so we wish her a happy birthday. And here we are. Today we're going to be talking to the members of the St. Vincent de Paul Society, a wonderful, wonderful mission here at our church that's been going on for years. So we're going to talk to some of them and see what they do and how they help the poor. But as we begin, I want to just tell you where I'm at. I'm at the corner of the property on the south side corner. It's the big white house that you see when you turn in, and that's called the Flicker House or the White House. The Flickers gave us this home many, many years ago, donated it to the parish. And since then, Father Starks has lived here. Father Connery lived here. And now Father Peter Russo, who is retired pastor of St. Joseph's and Our Lady of Grace, he now lives here. So the house is well cared for and provides a good service, too, for our priest. Father Russo has a wonderful thumb because all his flowers are out, and he really decorates the place beautifully and takes good care of the grounds. I think it's kind of a little pastime for him. But I notice he's got this beautiful forsythia, and I see all the forsythia is already come and gone, but his is quite lovely. I wonder what his secret is. Anyway, with the midst all these flowers here, a beautiful sunny day for us. God has blessed us once again. So why don't we give our prayer to God this morning. And as we do our opening prayer, He's got the whole world, we always put somebody in our hands. And I thought this morning we would put the 53 young women from Kabul, Afghanistan, that were killed just because they wanted to go to school and learn. So that's an important lesson for us, how we take our education. You know, we just take it for granted. And yet some people don't have nearly the opportunity we have. So let's pray for all those people in the world who are struggling, but especially those 53 young souls that God has taken home. So, He's got the whole world in His hands. 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 He's got you and me, sister, in His hands. He's got you and me, brother, in His hands. He has the 53 young women in His hands. He's got the whole world in His hands. There, our prayer, and we ask God to be with us all throughout this wonderful day. So, without further ado, let's walk over to the garage here at the Flicker House. There are two garages. One is for our storage for all our Christmas things and decorations for the church. And the other garage is for a lot of the food that the St. Vincent de Paul people put in boxes and prepare to distribute to those in need. So they have two particular garages. They have the 3-stall garage on the north side of the parish, but because there's so much food, we had to open up another garage. So let's go see them. Let's go see what they do and praise God for their mission and their generous hearts. Let's go. Hey, everybody.
Hi, Father.
Good morning. Whoa, what a pleasure to see you today. What a surprise. Did you know I was coming?
No.
Big surprise, huh?
We're shooting from the hip.
Shooting from the hip. Well, it's good to be with you. Tom Biggis is going to be our photographer today. And this is Doug Durant. And he's going to just introduce the members of the St. Vincent de Paul Society that are here. There are more. But Doug, why don't you tell us who's with us today?
Will do. Take a step back. Early last year, we lost our president, Joe Aglio.
Oh, Joe, yeah.
Who is still missed today. He was deeply responsible in a lot of things in the church, especially this. So when he passed, we kind of had to break everything up. And Joan became our new president, and she's done a good job since then. Will and his wife, Mary, our supporters. They help out immensely with the inventory here. Bob is right up there on a perch with Joe Aglio as far as his value to St. Vincent de Paul and what he's done for the many years. He is also a volunteer that works and sorts the food. We've got our new treasurer, Joe Bucci. Joe has jumped in with both feet and done a real good job with that. And we thank him for that, because I think most of us here, other than Bob, would probably not want to do that stuff. But he's doing a real good job on that. So this is the group. So last year when we started on this, just to give you some numbers, we probably, during the course of the year, will receive about 12,000 individual items that come through the church to the pole barn, and then ultimately end up over here to be distributed.
When you say to the church, does that mean the people who bring
parishioners?
Food?
Yeah.
Do you find that to be pretty consistent and pretty generous?
We've talked about it. There are some very kind people who show up almost every week, because you can tell what's purchased, how it's packaged, and that's the true kindness and charity. It's done anonymously. So if you're out there watching, thank you.
Yeah, it's nice too. I notice a lot of people bring bags when they come to Mass.
Yeah.
I love it when they teach their children to bring some food to church, because that's how they learn that somebody needs it, more than them. What's some of the main product that you need the most of, that you see that,
The canned goods are important. The pasta, the sauces,
Cheerios.
Honey Nut Cheerio for one.
I've been known to steal a box or two now and then. Yeah.
He's been dubbed the pest, because pests can kind of come and borrow things. He's laughing. So we've got a stash of Honey Nut Cheerios set aside, but he does kind of make up for it by donations to the poor box, which is helpful. Cereal is a big one. It's funny that in the last year we've been exposed to doors have been opened to us on where we can go with the food, what we can do with the food, besides serving the people here that need the food. Things have happened, like the Hannaford was giving us gift boxes, and there were various items that were in those gift boxes, and Will and Mary had the idea, we ought to go in there and check, what are we going to do with this? Yeah. When we pulled it out, the cereal was on the verge of expiring, and I didn't know that white rice also doesn't have a long shelf life on it. So we pulled those things out. What are we going to do with them? My neighbor through St. Luke's deals with Bethesda House.
In Schenectady?
Yeah. They feed people there, and the only requirement is that you show up and you get fed. Wow. So they're really doing God's work down there. I happened to talk to him about the white rice that we had. It was 30 or 40 pounds, and he went, they need it at Bethesda House because they can't get it for their soups to feed the people. So there was an example of doors opening and closing, but it got to the Bethesda House.
So the food is never really wasted.
No,
right? There's always somebody who has a need for whatever the people bring in.
The cereal that was in there, I didn't know, there's a place called Summit Tower, housing for those who need it. Yeah. And all of that cereal went down, and they put it on a table, and the people just scoff it up. They just love to have it. So it's kind of, the food is working its way to people in our area, but it's working its way where it's really needed in other areas.
Yeah. Now you mentioned, Doug, that a lot of the food comes from our own people here at Immaculate Conception. But who are your other supporters, donors, if you will, to the program?
The Knights of Columbus. Our parishioners, of course, are number one. Our Knights of Columbus are very good. Burnhill schools have been very good. Parishioners, Knights of Columbus. And Hannaford. Hannaford, the gal's name is Carrie McIntosh. She has come to us now on several occasions asking us if we could help them, because they had food that was either going to be discontinued, replaced, and we could get rid of it. And we did that, and we've really come into a lot. One story, we got a call about toilet paper. And can you help us and get it distributed? And I said, sure, we can do that. Will and I went down, and we got like somewhere around 1,400 to 1,600 rolls of toilet paper. The blue van that you see riding around. If we got it loaded, when we stopped and opened up the hatch, the toilet paper fell out. It was just like attacking us. But where we went there, that also lent itself to another door opening and learning a little bit more. And talking to my neighbor Mike at St. Luke's, he said that he would take whatever we could get, because paper goods are not something that's covered by the SNAP programs. So the poor have to come up with the cash to obtain those things. And toilet paper is kind of important. So, it was, we got it down to St. Luke's and St. Paul's. St. Paul's took a lot of it too. They were screaming happy to get it. So
great, huh?
we still have some of it here that we'll be using for our Thanksgiving and Christmas family give-outs.
Yeah. Before we go into the Thanksgiving and Christmas, are the Boy Scouts also instrumental?
Yes, the Scouts, Boy Scouts and Cub Scouts have been very, very, very instrumental. They've done, the Scouts were in last week, and I think we got like 740 items from them. The bags and bags of food kept coming in, so it was really good.
I have a little story about that. A few years ago, I remember walking outside, and I saw the Boy Scouts giving us all this food, and I happened to meet Ben Carter, who was looking for a parish. And I said, gee, why don't you come to Immaculate Conception? And gosh, Ben and his family have become great members of our family. So we got a gift while them giving a gift to the church, So that was kind of nice. So we have Boy Scouts, we have Hannaford, you have the people of the parish. So it's really good. There are a lot of source of supply coming in on a regular basis.
And also, it's funny how things happen. Like I said to you yesterday when we were talking, it's just, I don't know, somebody's guiding us, because you can look here, this area is kind of full, and it was a lot fuller, but last year there was a fundraiser at the Burn Hill School District. They raised 1,500, they sold 1,500 bottles of olive oil. And they went to the school that day, and they were ready to get going, and the administrator said, you're not coming in here with COVID. So they were completely out on a lurch.
I remember that. That's right. Yeah.
Well, it happened to be at Thanksgiving. We were now taking all of this and staging it over in the hall, which opened this up. And Bob was here. We were sorting 1,500, I think it was 25 or 30 varieties of olive oil. Okay. And staging it on the racks, and they were pretty happy. It went well. So
yes, I remember that.
It's working in other ways.
Yeah, I think it was Dave Cody, who is the council president at Our Lady of Grace, who was instrumental in that. And he was really happy that we could help him out. So, how about a little tour of what's all in here? There's quite a few boxes and stuff. You put everything in specific boxes.
Well, we're committed to getting it consumed before it expires, getting it to people that need it. We kind of have broken it down to about 35 items, okay? For example, peas. You might look and we have, peas coming in all the time. What we're doing now is we're stacking it up. There's color coding going on here, like black would be 2021. This is inventory that's going to expire in 2022, okay? So whenever there's messages being conveyed besides what here, okay? This also helps us as we begin to reach certain numbers, because Bob Fagan, who I didn't mention earlier, we call him Count Bob. He's been putting together a lot of information for us. As we're now inventorying this, the minute we get comfortable where we have enough, we want to share.
Right.
Okay? Yeah. So you can see that this is the pasta now that we've got for 2022. We can always use pasta. Okay,
that's a good filler, right?
Yes. So we got boxes that were left over. We're trying to pack things. We got boxes that Bob Labonte found that we had, and now these are called the Mail and More. We went to those folks, and they came up with a box that is easier for us old geezers to handle.
I know what you mean.
All right. And
so it has little handles on the side, I see, so you can move those
around. Right. And also it allows for now multiple stacking, so we can inventory an item, inventory the quantity of that item, and now we know what storage space we need.
All right.
Okay. Yeah. So, and we were just talking about that earlier, where we're probably, I think, with the generosity of everyone involved, we're going to run out of storage space.
Wow.
Okay, but
Okay.
we need about 10,000 items for Thanksgiving and Christmas giveaway for the 175 families.
175
175
That's
families.
significant. I notice every year in the hall becomes like a grocery store, right?
Yes.
And do people make their own baskets when they come into that hall?
The kids, the Burn Hills, the gal's name at Burn Hills, John?
Carol Bach from Burn Hill.
Carol.
Uh-huh.
She brings in, of course, with COVID last year, we brought in about 10 kids. And because of the safe distancing,
right,
so we have it all set up, and we identify by each item how much to put in each box. And there's about 45 to 50 items that go in a box.
So it's significant to me and to all of you that the charity from the people comes in, but that there's so much more charity that comes from that. You guys, your charity, people, our young people coming and setting up the hall for the Thanksgiving and Christmas food baskets. So the charity just keeps coming, and that's what God wants us to do, really, is to be people of charity, So now you mentioned pasta. So I would presume then what's necessary too is like sauce.
Absolutely.
Pasta sauce.
Yeah, we've got it sorted. The sauce is a challenge because the packaging becomes an issue
'cause of
with the
glass.
various containers and glass. So we have to be very careful. So, but Hannaford has called us, and they have a substantial amount waiting for us at 1:30 today.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So we'll be up there with bells on getting that.
Yeah. How is it we got so connected with Hannaford? Was it by chance, or would Joe Agley have his hand in that, or Bob?
No, because the food is non-perishable that we give out, people need to have, like for the kids, milk, fruit, meat. So we give out gift cards, okay? And Hannaford, we've gone to, and they help us out. They give us extras to help too. But anyway, that was our connection. We got to Hannaford, but they've been, as Doug says, really helpful. I also want to mention, we have people that donate funds. People put money into the poor boxes at the entrance to the church that we get. And there again, we have children who put in their coins type thing, and that's the right spirit of what we want. But there's also people that donate to us, some regularly, monthly, some every 6 months, whatever. But it all goes to be able to help people, because we help people not only with food. If people need help with other things like utility bills, they're going to be put out from their housing. All those sorts of things we're able to take and help a lot of people. Sometimes we can't do everything for them, but we can help. And we do it in connection with some of the other churches and organizations too, to try and get people over those hard spots.
Yeah, right. It's a real help to me is oftentimes people will come to the door, and if I'm alone in the house, or even if it's a busy day at the rectory, it's just a matter of a phone call to one of you, and you pick it right up. So if somebody needs something, I can call you, and you guys are here in 10 minutes, and what a wonderful gift that is to the church and to me, and then to these people who need, sometimes it's just a gas card. We never question why, you don't know the people's circumstances. So it's really great that you do that. I was going to say too, before, you were saying you might need more room. Is that possibly true? I mean, if we keep continuing to grow,
Yes, yes.
Wow.
Yes,
I'll have to give my bedroom over at the rectory, I guess, right? And or else we always use Tom Biggis's garage. I don't think he has.
Well, there's a certain Honda CRV that we could have parked
we
out
could load it
24
up.
hours a day.
Oh, wait a minute. So this has been really an eye-opener for us. So we want to encourage people to bring things that are good staples, right? Like rice and pastas and spaghetti sauce and tomatoes. All canned goods are the things that are really kind of important for us. Yeah.
Yep.
So, okay. So, wow, this has been a real eye-opener for me, and I hope for our friends who are watching us too. And I'm willing to bet that because of this presentation on our Tuesday chat, you're going to get a lot of food in that'll be extra. Because I think sometimes we forget, like even we just go to the grocery store, when you're buying yourself a can of peas or something, why not buy two, right? You know, it just even if you just bring in one a week, you know, and to teach the children to bring it in. You know, it used to be we would bring at Thanksgiving we'd bring it all up to the altar, right? But now because of COVID, everything is so changed. But hopefully that we'll get back to where we should be with that. So, this has been very, very helpful. Do you who helps with the gas cards? Is that just something from the money that comes into the church?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. You know, sometimes in the sacrament of reconciliation, it's our tradition that we always give a penance for our sins because we've been forgiven. So we want to say thank you. So we do something, an act of charity or some or kindness. And I often will tell people, you know, how about if you put something in the poor box? And you know, people really like to do that. I think it's not only a good feeling, but they know it's going to be for somebody else. You know, and I just find that people are really generous, you know, and just sometimes we need to ask and remind, you know, so this will be a good asking and a good reminder as well, you know. So, Bob, those boxes are almost as tall as you. That's how much stuff there. Yeah, well, it's a lot taller than Joe. So anyway, well, this has been a real nice experience. And anything else that we want to add while we have the opportunity?
No, just as you hand it out to the people that need it.
Yeah.
You know, like I told you about the little lady knocking at the door that had no food.
Oh yeah.
She had nothing, and so that she had food in 20 minutes to go with her. So that kind of gets you going in the right direction.
Yeah, right. Now I see you guys a lot of times. You know, different people taking stuff from the church over to the pole barn. So there's a lot of work that goes into this, you know, and I think you guys should be.
Doug and Will, Harry's, and Doug and Pam.
Yeah.
Most
Thank
of
you.
that work.
Yeah.
They really do.
It's really. I think it's really a gift to God, and God doesn't go without giving back.
Yeah.
You know, so however God gives back, the greatest gift that He gives us is, of course, heaven forever, right? So, but He gives us help along our journey. So anyway, well, thank you very, very much, all of you, for your good service. Thank you for all of you who are watching with us today, and for those of you who support St. Vincent de Paul. You know, I hope you'll continue. And if you haven't, maybe this is a good time to learn. You know, St. Vincent de Paul. Do you know his history at all?
Yeah, it started in Paris.
Yeah,
it's
in
about
France.
the French Revolution. It was actually founded in 1833 by Frederick Ozanam. He was a student at the Sorbonne, and he had I think 20 others type students, and they started because the conditions in Paris at that time were really terrible with the poor, and it's spread now I think to 130 different countries that have St. Vincent de Paul conferences. So it's a big organization and does a lot to help a lot of people, but quietly.
Yeah, yeah. You know, I see in the paper sometimes when people die, they'll say instead of flowers, in lieu of flowers, if you could give to the St. Vincent de Paul Society, you know, or to Immaculate Conception Church, or Our Lady of Grace Church, and St. Joseph's, and that's a nice thing too. That's a wonderful act of charity too. You know, so it just continues. So anyway, well, thank you very, very much for your good words and teaching us a little bit today about what it means to give and the many people out there who really need some help. I think we're very fortunate here at the church, all three churches, that you know we're blessed abundantly. You know, and sometimes we forget how blessed we are. So always the desire to share is a great thing. So anyway, well, thanks again, and thanks to all of you for coming and.
Confirmation.
Oh yeah, we have confirmation tonight. This is our second group. We had confirmation 2 weeks ago with Bishop Scharfenberger. Tonight it's the group from Our Lady of Grace and St. Joseph's Church. So we'll be having the bishop in our presence again. That's always a wonderful blessing for us. And thank you, Tom. Another First Communion this Saturday, again from the groups from Our Lady of Grace and St. Joseph's. We had ours here at Immaculate 2 weeks ago. Because of COVID, we've got to break the groups up because you know, we can only put so many people in the church. But everybody's working well with it, and so we congratulate our confirmation candidates, our First Communion candidates, our catechists, Christine Goss, Madeline Fredo, all those wonderful people who help, and Grace Faye, yes, and Roberta, over at Our Lady of Grace. So yes, lots of people to thank, and when we forget to thank, we ask God to bless them. So anyway, it's been a pleasure being with you today. I hope maybe we'll be on next Tuesday. You never know, things come up that we can't be on, but we try to go on every Tuesday at 11 o'clock if we can. So till the next time, remember that I love you dearly, and thanks for joining us, and God bless. Have a wonderful day. Be people of charity. Bye for now.